So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally, one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. This is a window into who Donald Trump really is, from the people who know him best, from the people who worked with him side by side in the Oval Office and in the Situation Room. And it is clear from John Kelly's words that Donald Trump is someone who, I quote, certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, who in fact vowed to be a dictator on day one and vowed to use the military as his personal militia to carry out his personal and political vendettas. So the bottom line is this. We know what Donald Trump wants. He wants unchecked power. The question in 13 days will be, what do the American people want? Thank you.
That is not true. That is not true. That general that said those things about Donald Trump was one of the first generals that Donald Trump fired at the beginning of his administration, because those generals and the other person also, they were part of the deep state. They wanted to engage they want to push Donald Trump to engage in one occasion, to invade Syria, in another occasion, to invade Venezuela. And at the beginning, he was overwhelmed with so many people trying to advise him to do different things that he ended up confused to look what exactly he's going to be doing. The reality is that Donald Trump was surrounded by the deep state and people that are in bed with the shadow government and the deep state. Therefore, those generals that he fired at the beginning, he realized that they're not good. He thought that they were good, but they are not. They were not good, and that's why now in this new administration, he's going to be surrounded by people like him, not by people that are warmongers, that the only thing that they want is to engage in battles with poor countries or weak countries just for the sake of engaging in battle, in a battleground, to enrich the military-industrial complex. And that's one of the reasons for which Donald Trump suffered, because when he pulled away from that kind of environment and the people around him, he had to fire more people, not only that general. The reality is that Kamala is lying. She's lying badly. And the best example for that is this Jewish that said this.
I know more about Hitler than Kamala will ever know in 1,000 lifetimes. For her to accuse President Trump of being like Hitler is the worst thing I've ever heard in my 75 years living in the United States.
That's the reality. That's a person that was in Auschwitz. And he was a Jew, 9 years old, and he knows what exactly was Hitler. He didn't need any kind of in regard to, this is, we call it the Old Testament. This is the 5 books of Moses. And I was doing a slight research not too long ago on the Torah, because when I do the prayer at night, I either read the Bible or read the Torah, or even sometimes I read the Quran, because bottom line is they are all descendant from Abraham. And we respect Abraham as a prophet and a special person from God, and the Jewish people also, and the Muslim people as well. So we should start looking at the commonalities that we have with the other religions rather than the differences. In Leviticus, it says over here, that was God talking to Moses. And I have to read because I wanted to be precise. I know that many people criticize me to be reading here, but the reality is, especially when you're looking at a book that is about the ancient times, you have to be careful. And the Lord spoke to Moses, say further to the Israelite people, anyone among the Israelites or among the strangers residing in Israel who give any of his offspring to Molech shall be put to death. The people of the land shall pelt him with stones. And I will set my face against that man and will cut him off from among the people, because he gave of his offering to Molech and to defile my sanctuary and profane my holy name. And if the people of the land should shut their eyes to that man when he gave his offspring to Molech, and should not put him into death, I myself would set my face against that man and his kin, and will cut off among the people both him and all who follow him, going astray after Molech. And if any person turns to ghosts and familiar spirits, like I mentioned before, and goes astray after them, I will set my face against that person and cut him off from among his people. So, in simple terms, in conclusion, in this paragraph, God was telling to Moses that if people in the people in Israel give their babies and the offspring, child or babies, to Molech. Molech was an evil god from the Ammonites, what is today Jordan. And you're talking about the time of Moses. And you may think, excuse me, you may say, well, but that was a long time ago. That was in the time of Moses. That has nothing to do with that. Really? Think about it. God objects the sacrifices of children, but we in the United States sacrifice hundreds of thousands of children every year in abortion clinics to Molech. Even the people, the women that do the abortion, they don't even realize that she is engaged in a ritual that has more than 2,000 years for the god of Molech. Because all these clinics have a common denominator, and those people that are behind the scene are worshiping Molech. And the worst part of it is that the naiveness of women, of not knowing exactly this, that doesn't justify. Because if you were in the time of Abraham or in the Moses, you will be killed for giving up your child. Women today in the United States and here in the United States and worldwide would start talking about the women reproduction rights. What is women reproduction right? The reality is that they're using a misconception of the word to confuse the people that are listening. Women reproductive is when you wanted to have a baby, and Donald Trump never went against the opportunity for the women to have a child. People of the United States, citizens of the United States, the amount of killing babies that we're having and we're facing in the United States every year is an extinction level event. And the way the left is trying to repair the lack of child or children for the new generations is importing people from South America in this illegal immigration. Massive illegal immigration. Non-justified. Non-justified. I'm sorry to be angry about this, but the reality is that if you think of this, this is something that At first, you think that it's something purely political, but it's more than that. This is a battle between good and evil. And the reality is that we are encountered. This election is not a political election between Democrats and Republicans. This election is a clash of good and evil. That's why the International Association of Witches said that they were trying to put a work against Donald Trump, a curse or something, but Donald Trump, they said that Donald Trump is protected. Of course protected because all the evangelicals are praying for him and he had the protection of God. But I don't want to do this video too long. I just wanted to tell the people of the United States and the world that we are in danger. We take sometimes the scriptures lightly because we are engaged in daily routine activities in this physical world. But the reality is that we forget that we are a spiritual being in a physical body. We're not an empty shell. We have the breath of God when we were born. And at the beginning, that spirit was clean. And with the sins of the physical world, we put dust and dirt in that spirit of us. And only Jesus can clean that. The cleansing of our spirit is only done by the blood of Jesus, Yeshua, and the cross. Otherwise, we all will be dead. We'll all will be, in hell. Because if you sin, that's the price of sin, hell. And how come people are still with hope? It's not with Molech. It's not with Satan. The only one that came down is God in flesh, in the form of Yeshua, to do a sacrifice for the redemption of humankind. But people go away to black mass rituals, satanic rituals, and the youth are more engaged in these kind of activities. Like if it's something fun, I'm going to Chicago because they're going to have a black mass and people are going to be having a party and people having corns in the head, like decoration, like it's funny. And many Hollywood rock stars doing that. Be advised, many rock stars have a contract, a pact with the devil. And the reason for they do pact is to make sure that they have money and prestige and stardom. But I'd rather have my treasure up there in heaven than have millions here on earth. Because when this flesh is rotten, goes to the ground, what really counts is our soul, our spirit. And if we're not in tune with God and Yeshua, it's going to be bad. This is the Geopolitical. I'm Peter Corretjer. I'm a geopolitical analyst. I mentioned before my credentials. I have a bachelor degree in criminal justice. I have a bachelor degree in political science with a minor in criminal justice, and I have a master in intelligence studies. Many years in the military, and a redeemed Christian by God, by Jesus. God bless you all. God bless Donald Trump, and God bless the United States of America. Have a good day or good night, depending upon the time that you see this podcast.